Welcome to the Auburn Medical Group YouTube live stream, the entertaining medical live stream where viewers can ask real-time questions of real medical doctors. And here are our hosts, Dr. Mark Vaughn and Dr. Gwen Vaughn.
Here we are. It's time for the Auburn Medical Group live stream in a little different environment, a different studio from usual. We do have the chat working, as you can see, because, well, Lindsay Antwine is saying hi. And let's see here. Let's get Lindsay up here. There we go. Lindsay saying hi. Hi, Lindsay. And, of course, we also have Tojo Melville. Hiya. And we also have Delanda Murphy also saying hi. Hi, Delanda. Good to see you also. We are glad to have all of you be a part of the show, and we look forward to interacting with your chats, probably a little bit more than usual because I don't have Dr. Gwen to interact with, so I need to have my audience be my co-host for the show here today. For those of you who are watching and don't usually know what this is or haven't seen this before, it is a live chat. So it's a live interaction between myself and the live audience that's here while we're doing the show. And today we'll talk a little bit about why I'm working from home and talk to you also about your working from home experiences, because I know a lot of you have done it and are doing it. Okay, other comments we have here. Lindsay says, I know everyone is tired of hearing my name. Lots of love. No, we are not tired of hearing your name, Lindsay. We love hearing your name because you make this show what it is. Other people who want to have their name on the show a lot, you can also be on Patreon and do what Lindsay did, and you can see what the benefits are to get your name on the show. Also, we have Amanda Erdegar saying, how are you? Hi, Amanda. Good to see you. And Peggy Combs also saying hi. Hi, Peggy. So we have this little different setup because it's different here in my home studio compared to the one that we have at the office. So I guess I'll get you updated on what is going on with Dr. Gwen and myself. Why is he not on the show and why am I not at the office? Well, actually, we could be together. We could be, but that would require some traveling. So Dr. Gwen and I are both out because of testing positive for COVID, of all things. Now, even though I'm not symptomatic, I had to test because of exposure, and that's what gets me here. So I'll show you the proof of it, and here it is. This is it. This is my positive test from the 22nd, and those of you who are really astute will notice that the control line wasn't there and may question, hey, is that a legitimate test? Actually, for this one, it is. I checked with the manufacturer, and they did indeed say that if you have a test with no control, but the test is showing up, then it actually is appropriate to call that a positive test, as long as the negative control isn't showing up also. So this is a true test. I am truly positive. I did have a real exposure. Even though as far as symptoms, not even 100% confident. I felt I felt a little sick Saturday, few hours after I tested, immediately took some Tylenol, and that was it. But I really did feel kind of sick there before I took the Tylenol. So thankfully, that's all that COVID is, this particular infection in this person, and in many people, thankfully, much less virulent than it has been with earlier strains. You might wonder, why are we having any isolation at all? Well, it's because we'll get to that. I've got some graphics from the CDC. We're going to go online and look at those together. All right, getting caught up with your comments and questions. We have Dina Moss also saying hello, and we have Lindsay knowing that that's what happened, that we got COVID. And actually, we could have Gwen here with me. I just didn't make him come here for it. Amanda also telling us to get well soon. And we have Tojo saying, COVID is still around. Yes, we'll get into that. Tojo? I think it's Tojo. And then also Lindsay, who gave you both COVID? We don't know. We've been having positive tests in the office, and we'll show you that there actually is a little bit of boost, at least in our community, of increased infections going around right now. So those of you who are very disappointed that you didn't get to see me in the radio show, the live presentation of the radio show War of the Worlds, I am so sorry. It was extremely disappointing. It was so difficult to tell my director that I couldn't perform. Thankfully, we were able to have somebody fill in. I was not able to watch the production. A little disappointed about that. I'm hoping that if they take it on the road, meaning we, do it in Cool or another surrounding community, that they will include me. Yet to be seen. I don't even know if there will be another production, but if there is, I'm really hoping they'll include me. So if you know people who make decisions there, help me out there. Okay, let's go to the online. I was going to show you some things online here. So we're going to go over to monitor 1. And look at some things here. 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 Look at some it's difficult sometimes. So different parts of the house, if you have that kind of luxury of having different parts of your house that you can, separate in a separate room as much as possible. If you're going to be around each other, wearing the mask, it's good to be outside if you're going to be anywhere in the presence of other people. And if you are, you should still be wearing a mask if you're around other people. And you should be separated from them at least 6 feet until you get through this isolation period. This isolation period here, isolation period, 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 this isolation period here, isolation. Some of that. Let's get to your comments and questions here, though, that have come up because you guys are so interactive. I love it. If you'd like to be a part of the audience and make sure you don't miss it, make sure you're subscribed and hit the notifications icon. Although most of you know that we're here at 4:30 on Mondays, 4:30 Pacific. Okay, comments. Lindsay Antoine is disappointed, I think, because you're referring to when I said I can't be in the show. And whoa, I don't know what that's for. There's a sound. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's see where the sound may have been coming from. Looks like it's working now, so I hope. Let me know. Oh, messes when you pull up the computer screen. It messes. Oh, that's what it is. So when I bring the computer screen up, so maybe I'm going to have to describe what I see over there because you can't see it. Let's see if I can fix it on the fly. That would be an accomplishment if I could do that. Fix something in the presentation while we're doing it. But hey, I'll take a look at it and see if maybe I can get it. You know what? I can't see what it is, but let me see what happens when I go to the monitor over there. I'm going to, I'm not 100% confident what it is that's causing the sound disruption. Let me just do it briefly here, just briefly. Let me just do it briefly here, and just briefly. Let me just do it briefly here, and just briefly. See if I can fix it for you. Huh? How about that? Did you see that? I got rid of the noise. Okay, getting back to your comments and questions, and thank you for letting me know about the sound. I depend on you for that. That's the great thing about doing the live stream with the audience and paying attention to the chat. Okay, Delanda Murphy, I'm diabetic. It keeps getting hangnails on my right ring finger. I keep getting them, and no doctor will do anything but give me cream and small ones under the nail. What do I do? It keeps happening over and over and over. It may be helpful to see a manicurist and see if they can do something to help keep that from happening. Also, cream is a great idea, keeping the skin moisturized so you don't have the skin is likely to come off like that. And then taking them off as soon as you get them, cutting them as close to the skin, but with clean utensils, of course, not with teeth, and then see if that helps. And then also working with your doctor if it's not getting better. That's what I would say if a patient came to me with. Notice how I word that? I'm not practicing medicine over there. I'm saying what I would do if a patient came to me with something similar. Of course, I can't say it applies directly in your situation because I'm not seeing your nails to know. Lindsay, sound is really messed up. It's over. Oh yeah, that thankfully, there we go. It is fixed now. I knew why I did it. Oh, better now. Thank you, Lindsay. Tojo wanting me to stop the noise. When you pull up the computer screen, it messes up. Tojo also telling us that it's better now. So thank you for letting us know what's up there. I'm going to sweep off the comments there so that any new comments will be, there we go. So Delanda, you are welcome. Absolutely. So now we are going to go to the screen and look at the numbers. So this looks back at all the way to the beginning of COVID, with the Delta wave and Omicron, and then these little waves here that followed when we thought, when it came all the way down in, when is that? I can't see what month that is. If this is May here, this would have been like September, February of 22. We thought things were really, really good at that point. We were super hopeful. And then it just kind of climbed up. And this was a difficult time because we were out of the huge number of deaths that had been preceding that time when it was really, really bad. But there was still a significant amount of transmission going on. It was really hard for people to be masking. And this is when all the political stuff was going on with the masking of the vaccine, because we had made it past the absolute worst of it. There was not as high as a death rate, although people were still dying from it. But now look at how wonderful it is now. We are here. And you'll notice that this actually isn't the low. The low was back here. Let's see if this is July, June, May, April. So late spring is when we had our low, absolute low. And that was wonderful. But we do have just the slightest little increment. We are seeing positive in the office. We are testing for it because people are still having symptoms and we're getting the positives. So it is still out there. Thankfully, deaths are much, 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 much lower. Let's see what we have here. So if we were to say, okay, we're interested in looking at deaths, there's a way to do it on this. Let's see here. In the United States, weekly deaths, and look how much lower it's come. Now, these last ones are gray because it takes a long time for them to be confident about the numbers and to have them all verified. And it just takes time for the numbers to come in. So they're a little hesitant to have that. And so it's probably going to be higher than what you see here right now at the very end here. I expect it's not going to be above this, or if it is, it's not going to be above this here back in April or so. Really good news to see those things coming down. Really, really, really good. And we're going to see some modification of the whole isolation and mask recommendations because there's an inconsistency there. And people talk to me about this, people who wonder, why are you masking? Why are you isolating? Why did you miss the show? It's because I'm a rule follower. I like to keep my license. I like to stay out of trouble, keep my nose clean, practice medicine for my patients. But I do recognize that there is an inconsistency, that we're treating COVID a little differently from other infections that probably are equivalent as far as being dangerous, like influenza or RSV or things like that, which we do strongly recommend people get their influenza vaccine, especially if they're over 65. The RSV vaccine that will be available for people who are over 65 this fall, or other people who have some kind of immune compromising condition like diabetes or kidney disease or true problem with the immune system uniquely. We want you to get those shots. Okay, let's go to your comments and questions because we can. Lindsay saying let me bring up Lindsay. Almost everyone should have had some variant of COVID. Almost. I mean, it's so high. In fact, I was just talking about this the other day about how so few deaths from COVID now for a number of reasons. One of them is the most vulnerable of people, for the most part, were injured by it or killed early on. And if they weren't early on, they were later on. And so at this point, there's just not as many people who haven't survived it and are still really, really vulnerable to being seriously injured from it. So it's a much smaller number. People will point out that's not a reason to discount those people and not take them into consideration. That should be part of the equation when deciding for policy and for how we're going to conduct ourselves. And even for myself not to go to the show, I was thinking, hey, the people who are supporting this fundraiser, there's a lot of elderly people. Some of them may not be vaccinated. Some of them may have conditions that make them vulnerable. There are a lot of people who just had I can tell you this, I had patients who have had no public contact until just recently. They isolated for 3 years before coming out. So those people do exist, and those people potentially could be hurt. So I was thinking about things like that as I decided I'm going to wear the mask. And then when I got positive, I'm not going to the show. Okay, and then Delana Murphy saying, OKC is getting bad again. OKC. Oklahoma City? Maybe. Could be. You guys will let me know if it's not. Let's go to, a lot of podcasts have a portion called One Cool Things. Oh, it was Oklahoma City. Okay, thank you, Delanda. So the cool thing I came across, and I can safely show you the screen now that you helped me fix that, is this, it's called consumerlab.com, and I bought a subscription to it because they go through all of the supplements that you might be interested in buying, and they test them. Now, I love to go through and show you specifically test results of things. I'll tell you about one, but I won't show you. But I'm afraid that it would take away from them getting the people who want to be members of it, and they may not like that. They may frown upon somebody showing all of their information that you're supposed to pay for. So, but I will tell you something that was surprising that I came across, and that was when they do their tests on fiber supplements. Because I was thinking, you know what? I recommend Metamucil to a lot of patients because it's a really good supplement. It's one of I actually use it. I'm super, super hard on supplements, but yet I recognize, wait, I use a supplement. Well, it's FDA approved the one I use. But when I looked it up on this independent lab, I found that they did not approve Metamucil, and it was on the basis of lead content. So once I finish this current supply I have, I'm going to another product that they tested that is free of lead, or at least low enough that they say it's okay. I was also interested to find that insect parts was another category they measure. Metamucil passed on that, not too many insects per gram of the material, but they didn't like the lead content of it. So that's interesting. If you're really interested in supplements, you probably wouldn't watch this show because we're so down on them usually. But this consumerlab.com was exactly what I was looking for. I found when I looked in the NIH, National Institutes of Health, that they had 3 similar labs, this is one of them, listed as a place to get independent information about what's actually in products that the FDA doesn't test or approve. So good to know. We'll be making more use of that in the future. All right, going back to your comments and questions. It was Delanna Murphy telling us yes. So let's see if we can. Oh, here we go. So Lindsay's asking, what brand of fiber supplement did they recommend? Oh, I'm glad you asked. Let me look over here. I'm not going to show you the screen because I'm just paranoid about them not liking that. But when I look for psyllium on Consumer Lab, and I look at their psyllium fiber supplements review, I find that, what was the product I was going to get? Oh, now, NOW. NOW, if you look for the psyllium husk caps, NOW, capsules rather than the actual powder. See, the Metamucil I liked was the very fine cut and actually sugar-free. They used aspartame, which we talked about on a previous show, to sweeten it. So it'll be good to get away from that by just having the capsules that are just packed with the fiber. But the fiber is that's why I like the Metamucil so much. It actually tasted good because it was sweetened and it had that orange flavoring to it. So it's like Tang when you mix it up in the glass. But fiber is really hard for people to take. And so putting in the capsules helps. I think you have to take about 10 capsules to equal the amount of fiber I was getting in the Metamucil, and probably do that twice a day. But surprisingly, it was also much, much, much more affordable, less than half the price for the equivalent amount of fiber to use the Now capsules compared to when I was using the orange flavored, sugar-free, fine cut Metamucil. Going to your comments and questions here. Oh, okay. It was Lindsay. So that brings us to the end of this week's show. Thank you for staying with us through this interesting COVID isolation show. We missed Dr. Gwaine. We should be back together next week. We'll both be out of our isolation. We should be. And we'll have a show for you from our regular studio with both of us. And hopefully it'll be a little smoother than this week with just me making the home studio work. Although I really like the way it does the comments. I think that's so cool, the way it does the comments, this thing I have here. Maybe I'll come up with a way of having it do that in the office too. So, you see Lindsay's picture there, or down there, I guess. It's really cool. So if you want to get your name recognized and on the screen at the end of the video, like Lindsay's and other people's, be sure to find us on Patreon. And in a day or so, there'll be a link in the video for you to actually do that. But for now, you'd have to find it in the description. So until next time, we thank Lindsay Antwine for the part she plays in making these shows. And I'm Dr. Mark Vaughn telling you to stay in good health.